let's do this. Let's place a horizon line roughly about, just slightly above the center of your field of, the overall sheet of paper is your field of vision now. So we're just going to place it slightly higher. Okay. So it's slightly higher than the center of your field of vision. We're going to select a central vanishing point that's right here in the middle. And let's draw the parameters of the back wall on here. Choose whatever size you want. Okay, sometimes it's easier to choose the corner first, okay? Because it defines the height of the room a little bit better. So we'll say that this is the height of the room here. And there's the other side over there. We're just going to draw a line that's parallel to the horizon line to define the ceiling. And same thing down here. There we go. So now, when we continue on through our process of one-point perspective, we go from the vanishing point in the center through our four corners and extend the lines out to define the ceiling and the walls and the floor. So extend those lines all out. So now we're at the point where we've created an illustration here of a room, which if we go back to last week's first class, this is the first part of what I asked you to do, one-point perspective room. But what we're going to do in this instance here, just to illustrate this point, is we're going to put a bunch of one-point perspective boxes inside of it. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw, let's see, we'll put in 4 boxes total on the floor in here. I want you to select the placement of your 4 boxes randomly. So put one box that's closer to the back wall over here, meaning that you're going to have the front edge of the box right there, roughly. And then put another one over on this side, maybe midway in the room. Put one over here, fairly close. And then we'll stop there with 3 for now. And then I'll show you where I want the 4th box to be. So just place those front edges there. I've just loosely drawn them in. So now we're going to formally draw in. There's the front edge there. There's the front edge there. And there's the front edge there. Okay. So now we're defining the endpoints of these lines. And basically what I'm saying from these lines is that these are all touching the surface of the floor. Okay? They're all contacting the surface. So now our next step, if we continue along our theory of connect the dots, la 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 la, we have to take the endpoints of each of these lines here and draw lines that are going to go vertical straight up and down. Okay? It would be, kind of pointless to draw another horizontal line here because we really don't know exactly where it's going to go. So on each of these, I want you to start on the one side, draw a vertical line straight up and down, and from this vertical line, I want you to choose a height for your box. Just an arbitrary height. Okay? Draw it up to whatever height you feel it's going to be, and then match it on the opposite side. And then for this box down here, I'll make this a short one. And the box that's over here, I'll make this one about a mid-sized box right there. And then on each of them, decide what your high end point is going to be, the front edge of the top. Make sure it's parallel to your other lines and the horizon line. So you find lines that are common or closest to decide that. So now I have this sheet of wood, 3 sheets of wood that are just sort of standing upright in my room. and I have to decide, are they coming towards me or are they going away? Is that surface the closest surface to me, or is it the furthest surface away? So I can extend from my vanishing point through each of the corners here on each of the boxes. They all have to go to the same common vanishing point. I can either choose to draw the lines out like this, which means that this edge is coming towards me, or I can choose to make it go away. So I don't care what you do. You choose whichever version you're going to do. Okay, so from each corner, go back to the vanishing point. Don't extend it all the way to the vanishing point because you know that it's going to end, so there's no point in drawing a line that you're just simply going to erase later on. For this box over here, I'm going to bring it towards me. And for this one, I'm going to push it away. Okay, so now my final decision that I need to make is how deep are the boxes. So this box obviously can't go through the wall, so I have to choose an endpoint. Maybe I'll have it just slightly away from the wall. And this one here, I'll place it here. So I'm drawing on the surface of the ground. This one here, I'm going to extend it outside the field of vision. I'm going to have the box continue off the screen, outside the field of vision. So that means the connection point on this one is going to be somewhere out of the field. So I'm just going to draw this line straight up and down here so that it connects through to this point here. And then my next choice is simply to make it parallel to the other lines in here. And that's going to extend off the page as well. So that front surface of this box here is outside my field of vision. And so the other ones now, I simply connect my dots. This has got to go straight up and down to where it connects through to the other line going to the vanishing point. Same thing with this one. And then parallel to the horizon line, ends it off. This one here, straight up and down. This one here, straight up and down. And these two connect together, parallel to the horizon line. So now I've got my three boxes inside my room, various heights and depths. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a box on the wall. I'm going to put it on the surface of the wall over there. So on the wall, I'm just going to choose where do I want that edge of the box to connect. I'm just going to draw a line through there like that, clean it up, tighten it, have a beginning point and an end point. So I'm going to go back in perspective along the surface of the wall to the depth that I want it to go back to, and decide how deep that is going to go, and then end it off there. But this time, instead of extending the box into the room, I'm going to extend the box out of the room. So therefore, I'm going to make this a window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from this corner here and this corner here, I'm going to draw two parallel lines to the horizon line going across this way. One, two. And then I'm going to choose a depth for the wall and end that off like that. So once again, I've got two new points, a corner there and a corner there, which my choices are, I can go up and down, which I already have. I can go parallel to the horizon line, which I already have. Or I can go to the vanishing point, which I have not done yet. So that's my only other choice. So it goes there. And this one goes here. So now I've indicated the depth of a wall, and this is outside, sky. Sky's up here, ground's down here. There's my horizon line, separating the two. So I can draw a tree here. Okay. And it's going to sit right on the horizon line. Unless I want my tree to be closer to my house, in which case I'm then going to overlap the tree trunk and have it sit on the grass there, which means it's now closer to me. It's not way off in the distance. I'm just going to look at your drawings and I'm going to select a box. Looks like you're following what I'm doing. So this box here, I'm just going to point to a box. I just want you to remember that box. Find the halfway point. If it was this box here, find the halfway point. If it was this box here, find the halfway point. So when you found that halfway point, I want you to take from that point, what are your choices? I just sort of gave it away. Can you go straight up and down? No, the line's already there. Okay. The other choice that we have would be to go across this way or to go to the vanishing point. I want to draw a line across the front surface, this surface across here. Okay? So we're going to go back to the vanishing point, from that point across like this. So it creates a little line across that surface. Now we've created two new points. 1, 2. We've already gone to the vanishing point. That's choice number 1. It's already going up and down. That's choice number 2. Our third choice is parallel to the horizon line. So what I want you to do is from those 2 points, I want you to draw a line parallel to the horizon line and extend it out. And extend it out. Now what I want you to do is I want you to choose an end point on the line that's closest to us and go to the vanishing point. The only 2 choices we have left are to the vanishing point and straight down. So, to the vanishing point where it crisscrosses the back line to complete that top edge, and then straight up and down from that cross point. We're going to go down to the ground. Oops, mine's angling a little bit too much there. Should be going there. And same thing with this one, goes straight up and down there. Okay. And then our next option is to go across here and then to the vanishing point. So what we've done there is we've created a little step. Okay? It's like a set of stairs, fairly tall stairs, but still, it's a set of stairs. I could subdivide this one down again in half, right there. Do the exact same thing. Back to the vanishing point, parallel to the horizon line, parallel to the horizon line. Find the end point, go back to my vanishing point, complete that top edge, go straight down to the surface, go straight down to the surface. Extend this line across, find that end point on the front edge, go back to my vanishing point. Again, connect the dots. That's all I'm doing. I'm just connecting the dots. So you can create any number of different vanishing points or any number of boxes within this environment. So now, let's go back to what I asked you to do at the very beginning of last week. Let's put a 2-point perspective box inside this room. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the corner that's touching the ground. Right there. That's the corner that's closest to us that's touching the ground. We know for a certainty that this box is going to go straight up and down, so we simply draw a line straight up and down. Now our 2 vanishing points are going to be going off of our page. And I want you to select a point that's approximately 2 inches off your page on either side. Okay? Find that point, take this edge off, Wherever that point is, you can pivot it, find the top edge point there, and extend it off to that vanishing point. And then do the same thing on this side. Find the vanishing point 2 inches off, connect it to this corner here, draw the line across, pivot on that vanishing point. And now we've got 4 new endpoints. We have to decide where is the end of the box on this side. So this line goes parallel. This line over here goes parallel to the vertical line. And we've got 1, 2 points. If we're making this a solid box, we've got those 2 corners there that go off to the 2 opposing vanishing points. We can't take it in that direction because it's already gone there. So the only other choice we have, we've gone up and down, so the only other choice we have is to go to this opposing vanishing point. And the same thing with this side over here. This one goes to this opposing vanishing point over here. And we now have a 2-point perspective box inside of our environment. Now the question is, why did I say 2 inches off the edge of the paper? Well, it's because our vanishing point is dead center. And just as a general rule, if you've got a vanishing point dead center and you want to have a box that's in the center of the room that's going equal distance on either side to vanishing points, then it's roughly about 2 inches off the sheet of paper. That's just a figure that I've arbitrarily chosen. That seems to look fairly comfortable. The further you place your vanishing point off the page, the more these lines are going to start going like this. You're going to start to flatten out, and your top edge is going to start to drop down. And it's going to look kind of weird, like a flattened out box. So basically you draw it so that it looks like it's naturally placed within the room. Okay. So here's an example now, back to that previous drawing that we did. Remember this one here? When we had the 1 point here and we had the 2 point over here. So under the same rule, when we're looking straight in this direction, if we have a box that's right in the center here, it would be pure 1 point. But anything that's moving out to the sides, these corners here, this corner is closer to us than this corner here. This corner is closer than this one and this one. So therefore, we really should be pulling this to a second vanishing point over here. But then it begins to twist, and it doesn't go parallel to the environment. So when we're in a 1 point perspective environment, everything has to go parallel to the lines, and it has to all work to a 1 point. If you pull something to a 2 point over on the side here, it's going to look skewed and weird. You can do it in the center of the room because obviously it's rotating the box. But if you try and stick it up against the wall like this, so I go to the vanishing point here, let's say I've got an edge of a box that's there, but I take and instead of making it parallel here, I skew it to a vanishing point that's over there. So it goes like this, and bring this back to the single vanishing point over here. See what happens? The relationship between this point and this point here, and this point and this point, this is greater than this, but it looks like it's been skewed and twisted on the ground, and it looks weird. So you can't do it. Although that's naturally what would happen, you can't do it when everything else is 1 point. Okay? It's what visually looks correct. Okay? Now there are instances where you can do what's called a fisheye lens, where everything bends outside the edge of the field of vision. Everything would start to warp and bend. And if you're consistent with it all the way around, then it would look correct. But if you've got one box that's like that, it's like Sesame Street. One of these things just doesn't belong here, and you pick which one. It's this one. That one doesn't fit, because it's skewed in a different direction than everything else is. Right? So in order to fix that, if I was to keep this box like this, I'd have to skew this box as well. And I'd have to bend my line in here just a little bit, okay, to create warp perspective. But we'll get into that later on. Okay? Something we don't have to deal with right now. Okay, so here's what I want you to do for next week. Really simple. I just want you to draw 10 1-point perspective boxes and 10 2-point perspective boxes. Right? On one sheet of paper. Like 10 on one sheet and the other 10 2 points on the other sheet of paper. Right? Make them different sizes. You know, so that they're not all cubes, pure cubes. Make them rectangles, turn them on their sides, do whatever you want. Okay, but I want 10 of them on one sheet of 8 or 11 by 17 paper, and 10 2-points on 11 by 17. All right, that's for next week's class.